What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here with your daily Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum update. We're going to take a look at the Dow Jones too and kind of use that as a guide to what may happen today. Definitely stick around for the whole video. It ought to be interesting. Don't forget, we have a free Discord in the description below the video. Definitely check it out, and let's get into the video. All right, guys, as always, I want to remind you I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, trading advice, investment advice, none of that. It's my opinion. So just remember, this is my opinion, not yours. And let's take a look at what's going on. I'm going to start out with the pre-market trading. The Dow Jones is down 821 pre-market in the futures. So that's not looking good for today. Although there is a chance that we could rise a little bit, I don't think we're going to today in the Dow. And I think that'll probably have an effect on Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that. Let's look at the Dow Jones on the daily. As you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, I have the support line down here, resistance up here. That is a rising channel. Whoops. And let's do a measured move of that. This is my measured move where I believe that the Dow is headed around the 16.8. We did go through the golden pocket zone the other day and got back above it yesterday, which of course when a market goes down that hard, it's gonna have a relief rally. Is the relief rally over? Not so sure yet. Let's take a look at where we could stop to. If we drop back down below the golden pocket zone, the 0.786 is around the 18.4. So we're most likely going to get some kind of support here. And if that breaks through, it should get us down to our target of 16.8. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to happen today, tomorrow. This could be weeks, a month, 2 months even. But our RSI is pretty low right here. If this 16.8 breaks, guys, it gets really ugly. I mean, our next support is a 15.4, and then after that, we're looking down into the 10 to 12,000 point range. So that's what I'm looking at with the Dow. I do want to go into the hourly real quick, and then we'll move into Bitcoin. Just show you some divergence I'm seeing. Let me zoom in here. And as you can see, we are making lower highs, and this is the hourly, guys, so take it with a grain of salt. But we are making lower highs in the price action here and higher highs in the RSI. That's hidden bearish divergence, so keep that in mind. That is what we are looking at. If it does break up above here, I don't see us getting above the 22.4 to 22.5 point range, 22,500, 22,400 point range. And that would also line up with the 55 EMA on the hourly. If we go back to the daily, let's look at what EMA that would line up with. We go back to the daily, and this is the 8 EMA coming down here. So that's going to be around the 22.4, somewhere in that range. But anyways, I don't believe we're going to pop back above this. I think this is going to be heavy resistance. And honestly, I think we're going to go down today. But we'll see what happens. Fear and greed index on Bitcoin, we are at 11. We are up 1 point from yesterday, I believe. I'm not sure if... Yeah, we're up 3 points from yesterday. So we were at 8. So people are getting a little less fearful. Not much. We're still in the extreme fear zone. So let's look at the monthly first. So on the monthly, our EMAs are turning pretty bearish on the monthly. The 8 EMA looks like it wants to cross the 13. If that happens, that could get kind of ugly, but we will take a look at it. Also, you can see that we did get a bounce off of this trend line that's ran off of these wicks here. We are above the 55 EMA on the monthly as of now, and that's sitting around the 46.70 range. So keep them numbers in mind. Let's look at the weekly. So on the weekly, I drew that same trend line on the weekly, and we pierced through it looking at the weekly. Also, I want to point out the 200 EMA. And guys, I know a lot of people use that the simple moving averages. I do not. I think Bitcoin's too young. I use the exponential moving averages also because of all the volatility in Bitcoin. It's just a lot more accurate. If you guys are interested in trading, I have some trading links down below, and all of them you get bonuses for when you sign up, and it helps the channel out. Definitely check them out. It's in the description below the video. I'll also leave it in the comments. That's another thing. Don't forget to give it a giant thumbs up, guys. I want to see if I can get 1,000 likes on here. Let's do it. Just take a second out, hit the like button, leave your comment down below because that'll get you entered to win next week's t-shirt. We'll do the drawing on Sunday. I'll pick a random drawing, t-shirts like these. It's off of my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. There's also a link to that down below. Check it out. Let's get back to the video. All right. So, looking at this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want daily updates every single day. We keep up on this market. So, looking at the weekly, as you can see, like I said, we are getting rejection at the 200 EMA right now on the weekly. Our weekly EMAs up top are smaller EMAs. The 8 and the 21, or the 8 and the 13 have, let me zoom in so you can see it. The 8 and the 13 have crossed the 55 EMA. Next one to cross would be the 21. If that crosses, that's pretty ugly. Let's look at the RSI. As you can see, if you guys watch the channel, this red line here is support and resistance on the weekly. Back here in 2014, we capitulated below it, broke back above it in 15, got support, and continued our bull run. Thought that was what was going to happen here. It did not. 2018, we capitulated below it, popped back above it in 2019, came back, tested it for support, and now we have broken back through. Could we be coming all the way back down to tag this line here, which would be this bottom over here? We'll talk about that. Let's look at the daily, and then we'll go into the smaller time frames. Then we'll go into Litecoin and Ethereum real quick. I'll try to make this quick. I'm running late. I got to get going. So as you can see, I have these targets here, and basically these are just Fibonacci targets from, I took the Fibonacci retracement from the swing low to the swing high, if this is the swing low. And yesterday we had talked about if we could get above 5,400 and get support, we could get up to these next Fibonacci levels, which we could not. We still have a chance to do that today. Also, if we continue down and break through, show you this trend line here. I'm going to show you my worst case scenarios also. I have one target lower than this also, but this trend line is off of all these wicks down here before we had our big run up in 2017. And if we were to come down today, it'd actually probably be up a little bit more. Right around the $2,500 range, guys, is what we would be looking at to retest this. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if we look at the RSI, we did drop below this rising channel. And as you can see, hold on a second. And as you can see, we pop back above it. If we get support here, we could continue up. We do have a little bit more room to drop first. But if we drop back below it, that's when everything gets kind of ugly. So looking at the daily, everything has crossed the 200 EMA here. We had the 8, the 13, the 21, and the 55 cross the 200 EMA. And this is a result of what we've seen from that. So let's zoom in a little bit. So if we were to come down, nail this trend line, it's going to be support around 42.68. Well, we also have room for support up here around the $4,750 to $4,800 range. So keep an eye on them. If we do manage to get up above this 54 and gain support, we could still rally to the 64 or 72, as high as $8,000 range. The 0.786 retracement would be all the way up to the $9,000 range. But again, unless we get above this 54 and gain support there, we are probably in more trouble. Again, a lot of that's going to depend on the Dow. Now let's go into the 4 hour. If we look at the 4 hour, we had this triangle drawn in. I had this in here yesterday. And a break of this triangle, I believe, is going to be key to our next direction. And when we're in a triangle like this, the market is very slow. So let's take a look at the worst case scenario I have here, guys. And that's measuring this as a flagpole, this being a bear flag. And if we were to break down out of it, we are looking around the $11,000 range, somewhere in that area, $11,000 to $12,000 range. Also, we have these trend lines here. I want to point it out. We have this long-term trend line where I said if we came down to tag that and we did get a support, if we bounced out of this, that's going to be around the 4,300. If that breaks, my next support is 33.29 and 31, around 3,100, which would be a double bottom. If those don't hold, then we're possibly looking at the 23.46. As you can see, these are support and resistance lines from way back here. And also, let's look at the next measured move. If we do break those lows, the double bottom, we could be looking at 23.46. If that doesn't hold, then we are definitely most likely going down to $1,100 to $1,200 range. That sounds crazy, $1,100, $1,200 Bitcoin. But on the good side, if we break above this, and as of right now, within the next 8 hours, if we break the 57.20 range, most likely will continue up to at least the 64. But the measured move of a break up from this, guy, is going to get us around the 81.70 range, which also between 81 and 82, which also is the golden retracement of the swing high to the swing low here. So that is a possibility, but we have to break today above the 57.20 range. We're most likely going to get some resistance here around the $6,000 range, which is the 55 EMA. Just keep an eye on that. We could end up making, we could end up stopping here, and this could be an ascending triangle. But as of right now, I'm going to stick with what I got here. And a break of this is going to let us know what's next. So if you guys are trading, I would wait for a break of this triangle and then go from there. Remember, I do have links down below. Check them out, trading links. Let's look at the hourly. Nothing really too special, although I do want to point out we were getting support on top of this line here yesterday. We have broke down below it again. It is looking pretty damn bearish. Although if we were to close here, and we got 10 minutes, we could be making some hidden bearish divergence because we are even here in the lows and we have a lower low over here. So we may get another bounce up before continuing down if we continue down. But I am leaning bearish today on the Dow and Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And Litecoin is the same thing, guys. Looking at the same scenario, the triangle here, until we break this, I wouldn't do anything. If we do break down, and if we broke down in the next 8 hours or so, it's going to be around the 31.80. And if we break down below that, the measured move of that is $15 to $16 range. Although we do have this long-term trend line coming from all the way up here. If we were to come down to that, it could be between the $19 and $20 range. We may get some support. Obviously, no guarantees there. But that's what I'd be looking at, one of these two targets, 19 to 20. If that doesn't hold, then we'd be looking at the $15 to $16 range. We break up from here, and I'll zoom in and I'll let you know what the price range is. And that would be around somewhere around the 36, depending on how long it took. But if we broke up in the next 8 or so hours, around the 36.50. If we break above that, chances are we're going to at least come back up and retest this 39.06 area, which is the 0.78, or I'm sorry, the 0.236 retracement. The measured move, though, would get us up to around the 53.50 range. The 0.5 retracement's around the 54, so I'd say between 53 and 55, which would also match up with the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. So keep that in mind. That would be my measured move, and that is a possibility if we break up. Like I said, this is all going to depend on the Dow, but these, if you are charting, this is what you want to be watching right now. As you can see, we are getting support on this trend line here, which is just a retest of when we broke out here. We have broken below it, but we are above it now, getting support. So it's kind of all gonna lean on the Dow. So watch the Dow closely, and I think that's gonna give us a huge clue. But that's where I'm at with Litecoin. Let's look at Ethereum. So on Ethereum, we're gonna do the same thing. We have the same triangle, guys, and right now on this triangle, we are getting support at the golden pocket zone, and then we have our EMAs just above us, giving us resistance. So on this one, a break of around the 108.80 range would most likely be heading down towards these lows, and a break of the 121 range, we'd most likely be heading up to our higher targets. So let's take a look at the measured move of just the triangle here. If we were to break that, we'd be looking at around, it's gonna be a little bit higher, around the $49 to $50 range. And if this trend line here, this white trend line, if this was to hold, this comes from all the way up here. If this white trend line was to hold, we could get support at the 77.73. So keep a close eye on this, guys. It's going to be a very, very interesting day. If we were to break up, like I said, that would have to be breaking above the, right around the 121 range. If we break above that, we could, the next target is obviously our 0.236, which is 137.31. And then we have this, we have our 55 EMA about 143. If we are able to break through that, we could get to the 157 range. Then our next stop is a 0.382 fib, which is 166, and our 0.5, which would match up with the 200 EMA at 191. And then we have our golden pocket area around 214 to 220 range. 0.786 is all the way up at the 248. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But anyways, yeah, guys, like I said, until this triangle breaks, and I'm sure the Dow is going to let us know which way this is going to break. But keep an eye on it. It's going to be an interesting day, guys. Be safe out there. If you're trading, trade safe. Use stop losses. Use risk management. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm going to be doing, I started using Dudex, and I'm going to do a tutorial on that. It's pretty interesting, especially if you're a new trader. There is a link below. They do have a risk management option that is a really cool option to put trades in, a little bit safer if you're new to trading. But always be safe trading. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose, and just be smart about it. Don't get crazy, and you don't use super high leverage. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe if you're new here. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash that like button. Leave your comment down below. That also gets you entered to win the free t-shirt Sunday. Check out my wife's webpage, ink your image down below. And I'm out.